Okay, today we're going to look at Sprite properties in code.org. So this is lesson 9. I'm actually at part 2 of lesson 9, so we're looking at just the different skills that you're going to learn here. So as it says right here, we're going to drag this down. And Sprite properties keep track of all the information your program needs to know about a sprite, such as its size and location. And you can change the value of these properties just like you do for variables and see the results when your sprite is drawn on the screen. So these are very similar in certain aspects to variables. If you look at this, it says run the program and see where the sprites appear. Change the location of the paintbrush to touch the paint palette. So if we run this, we've got these two things. We've got a paintbrush and we got a paint palette. And if we reset this, it says change the sprite.x and sprite.y properties of the paintbrush to change its location. So really what we want to do, and we'll turn the grid on here, so if we run it, we want this paintbrush to be down here and probably have it touch here. So I'm looking to probably like 150 and 250 are the kind of the two things that we would like to look at. And let's just try those for a second. So if we notice, we have the palette and we have the brush. Okay, I'm going to just change the brush for this. And so if I wanted to, I'm going to change the X to 150. I'm going to have it probably reside, probably right in here. So 150, change it here. And then the other one was 250, I believe. Yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and run that a second. And so what's going to happen is, if you notice up here, you really don't have the starting locations for these. They've taken those parameters away. You could expand this out and actually see the, make the parameters up here, but we're going to use it down here. So the paintbrush is going to end up moving down to this location. Okay, so I kind of have it near the blue paint. That's kind of what I'm looking for here, and it says, just change the sprite properties so that it changes location. And that's what we did right here. Okay, this will come in much more useful later on when we can actually change these as our program is running, so we can actually have a character move across the screen. That's really helpful. So looks to me like that looks good for me. Maybe I want to move it up here a little bit to touch the blue, but I think it looks pretty good where it's at. So go ahead and hit finish, and we'll say continue. The next part of lesson 9, activity 3, is it says do this. Run the program to see what is different about the first two notes. Notice how the rotation and the scale blocks makes the first two notes look different. Use the same blocks on the last two notes to make them look different too. Use the rotation and scale blocks on the last two notes. So on the first two notes, we're going to do something, and on the last two. So if you notice, we've got these right here. These two look different. And so what we're going to do is actually change not just the location this time, but we're really going to change the rotation and the scale. And if I move these up, I'm going to just really kind of work on these two right here. So this is note 1, I'm assuming, because the scale is 0.3. Let's take note 2 and make it the same. So 0.3, and if I reset this real quick, see, we're looking pretty good there. And then we're going to change the rotation. So the rotation for this one is this direction. Let's make this one that way as well. And notice note 1, the rotation is equal to 20. Let's make the rotation to this equal to 20 and see what happens with that. And now these two are the same. Okay, and if I look back at the directions here, use the same blocks on the last two notes to make them look different too. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take these other two as well. And what we could do, if we wanted them all to be the same here, we could do that. If we go down here to 3 and 4, we're just going to drag in rotation and scale for each one of those. So let's go ahead and make this bigger here and drag in under note 3. I'm going to drag this one, and we're going to drag this one, and we should name these. If we don't, they're not going to work. And they need to be the same as what these are. So I'm going to just keep these the same. let's just try this and see what ends up happening here. If I reset that, it should look like this. And then I'm going to do that for note 4 as well. Scale and rotation. And now I'm going to name it note 4 and name it this note 4 as well. And we're going to keep the same style. 20. Okay. So when you see the scales, the whole number, the 100% of its size is just 1. And if we want to decrease it in size, think of like percentages. You know how we can take a percent and turn it into a decimal? That's exactly what we're doing here. So when we say 0.3, it's going to be 30% of what its actual size is. Okay, and then rotation, actually 0 is the middle and where it's normally at, and then we're going to do 20 degrees of rotation. So we're going to rotate at 20 degrees. That's what this 20 is right here, is we're rotating at 20 degrees to the right. So if we do that, now we got all 4 lined up this way. So that's kind of how this activity works. And if we finish this, we can go ahead and click continue and we move on to practice. But I do hope this helps you with your coding, and good luck.